And who do we have with us today?
Oh, hi, my name is Mary Hackett-Brooks. I'm a registered nurse and registered endorsed immunisation nurse, or was. And my journey into realisation about the adverse reactions of all the vaccines, it started, I was working in the January, I was working with infection control, and our team normally would give all the staff flu vaccines. But all of a sudden we were told, change it, we're doing COVID vaccines, right? And so this would have been, I think, March 2021. I can't remember the exact day.
Yeah.
And anyway, what I do remember is it was the week before Easter, and I was responsible for rolling out the immunisations, or assisting rolling out the immunisations all across the tablelands, Atherton and that area. And I had noticed, well, first of all, the government had said at one point we weren't to give it to pregnant women, and then we started giving it to pregnant women, and then and at that time it was AstraZeneca I was giving, and we could give that for people aged up to 50, I think it was, right? And they kept changing the rules all the time.
Yeah.
And so I went and I immunised maybe a few hundred, it was a couple of weeks before Easter. And people were coming in crying, saying, "What will happen if I get pregnant?" But like, is it okay? Is it, and just coming, I don't really want to have this, but I feel I have to, and that was not, I was never really able to freely inject them, giving informed consent, because none of them were really giving, I couldn't give them any information.
So you weren't given enough information that you could feel to pass on to people?
It was an experimental drug, so we had a list of possible side effects, but we had no idea. It was so vague. It was just drawn up on the Queensland government side. There's been no research. It's never been tested on pregnant women, and on young people and on children. Anyway, so what happened was, I was noticing there was quite a lot of really very quick allergic reactions, like there was a few anaphylactics, and then I was hearing that people had bad headaches, they couldn't get out of bed for 3 days after having the injection, and it just started, that was just the initial, that's all I heard, the initial reactions. And then it was Good Friday actually, and I had 4 days off work, and it was in the, I don't know where I heard it, I think it was in the paper or the news, and it was a 44-year-old man in Melbourne had dropped dead from massive blood clots from AstraZeneca. So then they changed the criteria for AstraZeneca, I think it was only to over 50s or something. They changed the criteria again to cover for him. And then it was like, all of a sudden I just had this moment, I remember on the Good Friday when I heard it, and I just had this horrible feeling in my gut, and I'm going, oh my God, I've just been giving it to all those people that age, younger, and this was the first real blood clot death that I'd heard of, you know. And I just felt like, holy shit, what have I been doing to people? This is horrible. I feel like a murderer. And I've never in my life been in the profession for 45 years, never in my life given a drug where I've felt uncomfortable about it, because my code of conduct actually won't allow me.
Yes.
I have to give them informed consent, Anyway, so then I was casual status at work, so I just wrote an email to my line manager, and I just said, at the moment I'm just going to be taking a break from immunising and just not being part of the team for now, and because I didn't say why, because we were really being badgered. I was being badgered when I was at work. Have you had your shot yet? They'd be coming rounding you up. Have you had your shot yet? Have you had your shot yet? And I used to just say, I'm just waiting to see what happens to everyone.
Yes.
because, you know. Anyway, so I did continue. I went back to work after Easter, but just said I will only do the flu clinics, you know, but I still felt quite ostracised, you know, like, and very different for not having it.
Yeah.
And then it just went on worse. Someone in the hospital who was only, it was late 20s, early 30s. Yeah, she had a huge pulmonary embolus 10 days after and dropped dead. So it's like, you know, things started coming to light.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, obviously, I lost my job in the September. And of course, along the way in the March, when all this first started, I got the letter from APRA saying unless I supported their vaccine rollout, I could be disciplined, deregistered, you know, which you've probably heard a million times.
Yeah,
we all
so
got.
Unjust.
And it just, I've just lost all faith in the health system. For me, for my colleagues, not to jump up and down and stand up for their patients with integrity, you know, and support the Hippocratic Oath that they swore when they qualified, it just makes me feel quite sick. I just don't know how people could do that. And if they're still working, I don't know. It's like, I know people have to, some people have to, but why not at least shout out and about everything?
Yeah.
You know, I spoke to a Queensland dispatch officer here in Cairns only a few weeks ago, and I said to her, you know, I hope you say this isn't true. I said, but I'm noticing a lot more ambulances out and about. And I said, are you seeing a lot of vaccine injuries? I said, it's okay if you can't tell me. Are you seeing a lot of heart attacks, young people dropping dead? And she said, oh, it's horrendous. Yeah. And I can't speak about it. I just have to. She said, we're so busy at work. It's like we're inundated, and yet there's nothing about it in the news.
No.
It's the hospitals full of long COVID or whatever they're saying, but they're still continuing to, you know, to tell the truth. And I don't know, it's changed my whole life this last 3 years, you know.
How long had you been nursing prior to this?
Since I started in 1969, so it'd be getting on for 50 years, nearly 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But I was still working because I'm 71 now. So I was still working at 69 because I wanted to work because I had so much knowledge and so much to offer.
Yeah, you
know?
can see the passion is still there.
Yeah, but not now. I would not even go back to that. Oh, it's a sickness system. I can't believe I couldn't say this after I was so entangled in it as an endorsed immuniser, because it's opened up a can of worms into immunisations now.
Yeah.
Oh, I started going down rabbit holes with immunisations, and it's like, oh my God, I've correlated a lot of things. Even in my own life, my youngest child, she started having seizures and convulsions when she was like 2.5, and looking back, it was just not long after her immunisations, you know, her 18-month immunisations when they started.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having the courage to come and talk with us today.
Yeah.
And bless you for your years of service in nursing.
Oh, yeah. I hope I can be of help in some other area.
Yeah.
You know, I still want to give, you know, so,
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for all your work.
Thank you for sharing with the Deplorables.
Oh, it's been awesome
and
meeting
enjoy
you.
the rest of your day in Holloway Beach here,
I know.
a stunning part of the world.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.